Wednesday, April the 7th. Lake level's 915.3. It's been about the same for the last 4 or 5 days. Water temperature, depends where you're at, but it's mid 50s to low 60s. Starting to see quite a few fish that are on beds. They're starting to move up to spawn. A little bit of everything that's going on. We had a really hard rain today. Actually had a couple inches of rain, so I'm kind of curious in the morning to see what's going on. I'm going to go back into some of the creeks, some of the places where there's a potential runoff coming in, and that water should be a lot warmer coming in the backs, and throw a spinnerbait and maybe a chatterbait some, and just to see what's going on with the recent rain. But there's going to be a lot going on this weekend. They got the KVD Big Bass deal going on for 3 days, several other tournaments going on, so maybe a little hard to find a place to fish sometime this weekend. But a lot of people ask me, well, what do I need to do to catch a big fish? Well, this time of year, you could probably catch a big fish in 2 feet of water, and I think you can still catch some out there 25 to 30 feet of water. There's still a lot of fish out there deep, and depends on what part of the lake I'm at. One day I'll catch them pretty good down there by the dam. I'll find some fish out there suspended, a lot of really big Kentuckys and some smallmouths. And they're still out there over 20 feet of water, but they're only 8 to 10 feet deep. And some days I'm catching them on a swim bait out there when it's slick. I'm throwing like a 3.2 or 2.8, even a 3.8. Usually on about a 1/4 ounce head. Casting out, meant to go down, fishing it real slow. If I got wind out there, a jerkbait will work real good some days. And the crazy thing is, I'll find a big group of fish and catch them pretty good, and then go back the next day, and it's like there's no fish in sight. I think the fish are moving so much. They're coming up out of some of that deeper water, staging on them points, and then they're going a little further back in. And I'm trying to stay on top of them, moving with them as they move. Now, a Ned rig is working in a lot of the spawning areas, and a lot of the fish are really shallow. So I've still got my better fish are still coming on a rock crawler, on a crankbait, and some on a wiggle wart. I'm throwing Stone Cold, Phantom Green, Red Craw. And even on the crankbait fish, some seem to be 6 to 8 foot, but some of the better ones have been 2 to 3 foot right up on the bank. I know guys are catching them on an Alabama rig where they're setting the boat in 15, 20 foot, fishing pretty shallow. And this time out there catching them deep out of trees. So like I say, there's kind of a little bit of everything going on, but everything, I'm still catching them on, you still got to work at it. It's not like, I say they're biting about anything, but you still really got to work at it to get the bites. I think that's going to get better as more fish come in. Like I say, swim bait and the Ned rig is going to get a lot better. Even caught some fish on a split shot. A split shot, something you don't hear too much about. It's what we used to throw years ago before the Ned rig came out. But I just take a little Zoom centipede or French fry, 2-aught hook, and crimp on a number 3 split shot weight, about 16 inches above the hook, and just drag it on the bottom in the same area as you'd fish a Ned rig. But, that's another thing that'll get better. And the slime, for the most part, hasn't been bad at all throughout the lakes, only certain little areas. I've been catching a few fish on Topwater as well. I've been catching them on walking baits, a Strike King Sexy Dog, and I've got a new bait I got from Spro that I've been playing around with. It's a walking bait. It reminds me a little bit of like a Sammy, the way it's shaped, but it's a lot bigger bait. Got a super loud rattle in it. It's working good. And a lot of the times we fish the Topwater out over deeper structure, but I think with as many fish that are starting to move up there shallow, guy can make long enough casts. You get it over one of these fish that's on a bed. A lot of times you can catch them up there in 2 to 4 feet of water, just parallel on a bank, on either a walking bait or another bait I like to throw is a wake bait, like a jointed redfin or a straight one. This is a new one that Spro's come out with. I just got them. I'm really anxious to get out there and try it. The good thing about, all the Spro baits come with Gamakatsu hooks, and everything that they make that I've thrown, works right out of the package. So, this is from now till, late November. A guy needs to have a topwater bait on the deck. Like I said, there's a few fish chasing shad, and that's just as the water gets warmer, you're gonna see more and more of that. And I like the big walking baits because I can throw them a long ways. Another thing to keep handy on the deck is like a flutter spoon will work good as well. And that'll also work out there in some of them suspended fish. But the flutter spoon and the topwater bait usually work a little bit better in the post spawn, which, if there is any post spawn fish, there's probably very few because I think the fish are just now starting to move up. But next 2 or 3 weeks, topwater bite's going to get a lot better. So, like I say, I'm going to go out tomorrow and see what this rain has done. I don't think it's going to raise the lake that much because we didn't get the rain very widespread. It was kind of spotty. So, this week's going to be a busy weekend. Maybe a little tough to find a spot to fish. Just hopefully everybody will respect where each other's fishing and everybody get along fine. So, till next week, good luck, good fishing.